Officer, arrest him! This is a travesty, I'm innocent. We did it. Thank you.
Once upon a time in the bustling city of Chicago lived Marcus Johnson, a hard-working black single father whose entire world revolved around his 5-year-old son, Ethan. 5 years earlier, Marcus had lost his wife, Angela, during childbirth, leaving him to raise Ethan alone while struggling to keep his small construction company alive. Every day was a battle between paying bills, attending school events, and ensuring his son never felt the emptiness left by his mother's absence. Marcus wasn't rich, but he possessed something far more valuable, an unshakable heart filled with compassion. One freezing December evening, while driving home after a long day at work, Marcus noticed a little girl sitting beneath a broken bus shelter wrapped in a thin, torn blanket. Snowflakes covered her hair as she hugged a worn-out teddy bear. Most cars drove past without slowing down, but Marcus stopped immediately. He knelt beside her and gently asked, "Sweetheart, where are your parents?" The girl lowered her eyes and whispered, "I don't have anyone anymore." Her name was Maya. She was only 6 years old. Her mother had died months earlier, and after being shuffled through overcrowded shelters and abusive foster homes, she had run away, believing no one wanted her. Marcus couldn't leave her there. He called child services, stayed with her until they arrived, and visited her every single week afterward. Every visit made him realize that Maya wasn't just another child needing help, she was a little girl desperate for a family. After months of paperwork, interviews, and legal procedures, Marcus made the life-changing decision to adopt her. Friends questioned his sanity. "You're already struggling as a single father," one said. "Why take on another child?" Marcus simply smiled. "Because every child deserves someone who chooses them." Maya officially became part of the Johnson family. At first she barely spoke, expecting to be abandoned again. She hid food under her bed because she feared there wouldn't be another meal. She woke screaming from nightmares and apologized for everything, even when she had done nothing wrong. Marcus never lost patience. Every night he sat beside her bed and reminded her, "You don't have to earn this family's love. You're already home." Years passed, and the frightened little girl slowly transformed into a confident young woman. Ethan and Maya became inseparable siblings. Marcus treated them equally, celebrating every success and comforting every failure. While Ethan dreamed of becoming an architect, Maya developed a fascination with justice after remembering how the legal system had failed to protect her as a child. She studied tirelessly, earned scholarships, graduated at the top of her class, and eventually became one of the youngest attorneys at one of Chicago's most respected law firms. Marcus couldn't have been prouder. Meanwhile, his tiny construction company grew into Johnson Urban Development, a respected business employing hundreds of workers and revitalizing neglected neighborhoods. Marcus became known not only as a successful entrepreneur but also as a man who gave second chances to former inmates, struggling veterans, and single parents. Yet success often attracts envy. A ruthless real estate tycoon named Victor Lang had spent years trying to buy Marcus's company. When Marcus repeatedly refused, Victor decided to destroy him instead. Victor secretly bribed one of his own executives to forge financial records, making it appear that Johnson Urban Development had committed massive fraud and embezzlement involving a multi-billion-dollar redevelopment project. Fake witnesses were paid, digital documents were manipulated, and anonymous accusations flooded federal investigators. Within weeks, Marcus found himself arrested. In front of television cameras. Reporters shouted accusations while employees watched in disbelief. Headlines declared, "Community hero or corporate criminal." Investors withdrew funding overnight. Banks froze company accounts. Longtime partners abandoned Marcus before the trial had even begun. Ethan begged his father to fight back, but Marcus remained calm despite the humiliation. "The truth always survives," he said, though deep inside he feared everything he had built was slipping away. The trial became one of the most watched corporate cases in the country. Prosecutors presented stacks of financial documents supposedly proving Marcus had stolen hundreds of millions of dollars. Expert witnesses testified against him. Every piece of evidence appeared overwhelming. Marcus's legal team struggled to counter the sophisticated forgery. As the final day approached, even the judge privately admitted the case seemed nearly impossible to defend. Marcus looked across the courtroom at Ethan, now a successful architect, whose eyes were filled with worry. Then he noticed Maya quietly entering through the courtroom doors carrying several heavy boxes and a laptop. She was no longer the frightened homeless child he had rescued 17 years earlier. She walked with calm confidence, wearing a navy blue suit and carrying herself like someone who belonged exactly where she stood. The courtroom fell silent when she approached the defense table. "Your Honor," she announced, "I request permission to represent Mr. Marcus Johnson for the remainder of these proceedings." The judge recognized her impressive legal credentials and approved the request. Victor Lang smiled arrogantly, convinced the young attorney had arrived far too late to change anything. Maya began calmly questioning the prosecution's star witness. At first her questions seemed ordinary, but slowly she exposed contradictions in his timeline. She then presented security footage retrieved from an overlooked cloud backup showing the witness secretly meeting Victor's chief financial officer months before the investigation began. Gasps filled the courtroom. Maya wasn't finished. She revealed forensic reports proving that the allegedly incriminating financial files had been created using software installed on computers belonging to Victor's corporation, not Marcus's company. Next, she displayed email records recovered by independent cybersecurity experts showing detailed instructions ordering employees to fabricate invoices and alter transaction histories. Victor's attorney objected repeatedly, but every document had been properly authenticated. Finally, Maya called an elderly janitor to the witness stand, a man everyone had dismissed as insignificant. Months earlier he had quietly copied surveillance footage after noticing suspicious late-night meetings in Victor's headquarters. The video showed executives discussing how to eliminate Marcus forever by framing him for crimes he had never committed. The courtroom erupted. Reporters rushed from their seats. Prosecutors stared in disbelief. Victor's confident smile disappeared instantly. Maya looked toward the jury before speaking from the heart. 17 years ago, the man sitting beside me found a homeless little girl freezing on a sidewalk. He didn't ask what she could offer him. He didn't care about her race, her past, or the burden society believed she represented. He simply chose kindness. That one decision gave me a family, an education, and a future. Today I'm not here because I owe him a debt. I'm here because justice demands that good people are not destroyed by greed. Tears filled Marcus's eyes. Ethan reached over and squeezed his father's shoulder. After only 3 hours of deliberation, the jury returned. On all charges, the foreperson announced, "We find the defendant, Marcus Johnson, not guilty." Cheers echoed throughout the courtroom. But the greatest shock came moments later when federal agents entered and arrested Victor Lang along with several executives on charges of conspiracy, fraud, bribery, obstruction of justice, and evidence tampering. Television cameras captured the very man who had tried to ruin Marcus leaving the courthouse in handcuffs. Within weeks Marcus's company was fully restored. Investors returned, contracts were reinstated, and public support became stronger than ever. Yet Marcus surprised everyone by announcing that a large portion of the company's future profits would establish the Johnson Hope Foundation, providing homes, education, and legal assistance for homeless children and foster youth. He appointed Maya as the foundation's president, believing no one understood its mission better than someone who had once lived it. At the grand opening ceremony, Marcus stood before hundreds of guests, employees, and children whose lives would now be changed forever. Looking at Maya, he smiled proudly. "People keep telling me I saved her 17 years ago," he said. "They're wrong. I gave one little girl a home, but today she saved my family, my company, and the legacy we built together." Love always comes back, sometimes in ways you never imagine. Maya embraced the father who had chosen her when no one else would, while Ethan wrapped his arms around them both. The crowd rose to its feet in applause, not because an empire had been saved, but because everyone had witnessed a timeless truth. The greatest investments are never made in buildings or businesses, they are made in people. Marcus had once given a homeless child a chance to belong, never expecting anything in return. 17 years later, that single act of compassion returned to him when he needed it most, proving that kindness can outlast wealth, defeat corruption, and build a legacy that no enemy can ever destroy.